Hi, I'm Catherine. I'm the Dean of CATS Educational Group. And let me introduce what we're going to have in this coming winter camp, 2009 to 2010. We are launching a winter camp called CFO Camp. It's from the idea of Chief Financial Officer, and we turned it into CATS Financial Officer. The reason we are hosting this camp is because we want our children to be more understanding of the difference of their needs and their wants, because most of our children, they have things from their parents, and we want them to appreciate what they have in life and to have a better understanding of how parents are working very hard and paying for all the expenses at home, and how they should appreciate it in life, and also have the right attitude and towards the concept of money. And so in the beginning of this camp, the first activity that we start is we're starting with a board game, which we're introducing how in the history people are exchanging things with shells and then coins, and then there's a different concept of money where we have checks and different forms of money. Then we'll also introduce a different currency around the world. So we have Japanese yen, we have new Taiwan dollars and the US dollars and the English pound, so that the children understand that each country has their own monetary system. And then we are going to lead to the very practical experience for children in case of interviewing their parents on their household expense, so that it would dawn on them that it actually costs so much to pay for the electricity, to pay for the meals, and pay for the education. And we then turn it into that concept of at the amount of the electricity is equivalent to how many meals of McDonald's, so that it make it more easier for the children to understand, to grasp the concept of it. And then we have a lot of different activities, as in comparing prices of the different things, and the choice of the shoppers on how they can shop more in a more economic way. And then also for older kids, we will then compare the different brands and what's offered by the different products, and not to be misled by the advertisement, and actually look at the quality and the quantity of the products before purchasing. And so we're actually taking the children onto the streets to do some research and comparison. And every day we will have some class discussion on to develop children's critical thinking skills. We compare what are needs and what are wants, and we compared on what do we see when we go shopping, and the different things that we should think about before we purchase anything. And then we also have, for example, the Chinese New Year will be coming soon, so we have a red envelope plan for the children to think about how they want to spend their Chinese New Year money, the red envelope, and if they want to save it. Of course, we'll then also introduce banking. We will introduce how they can save the money in the bank, and we will also teach them how to make a cash book, so they know how to balance their cash flow. During this experience, we will also teach them the importance of saving and how they can save money just by turning off the lights, unplug the electricity, and also we are going to make little piggy banks. We have different arts and craft projects where children can do some hands-on activities and really experience how hard it is to accumulate the money into amount to do something different. Okay, and we will also take the children out on field trips. For example, we'll go to the museums where they get to observe the evolution of the history of gold, and they get to touch a big piece of gold and see how heavy it is. And then we will also take them to some health center so that they can have some sports, because we want to emphasize that health is actually the wealth is actually our wealth. Without health, we cannot do anything else. And then we will, at the end of the third week, we will have a treasure hunt with lots of different challenges that children have to solve as teamwork and also through critical thinking. And we will review all the concepts that we have learned throughout the 3 weeks. And one more thing that I want to emphasize is that when we are designing the curriculum, we really benefit a lot from a lot of websites that we have searched on the internet. And there are a lot of excellent websites that provide children the experience in English, in which say there's a game on budgeting. So they are given a certain amount of budget and they have to make, for example, a card, and then they have to make decision. And if I'm willing to spend this much from my budget to get the stickers, the trimmers on the side, and in the end we will then compare the results of everyone's work and see who has made the most beautiful card out of the budget that they have and how much they have used up. And then there's also a website as how to become a millionaire, that if all of us would start with a certain amount of deposit, and every month or so we need to deposit a certain amount of money, and then the committee would then calculate who in 20 years who will be the closest to become a millionaire, right? This will give children a very different experience on how money is saved and how we can accumulate money. And but then on the third week, we then will discuss the most important issue, which is what defines rich, how to define it. If a person earns a lot, but then he spends more than what he earns, do we call them rich? And also we will then have a lot of case studies of successful businessmen and look into their quality, the characteristic of these people. If they have higher education, if they work hard, what are their characteristics that helps them to become so successful, and what do they do in return for their society? That's something that we want to stress with our children, that other than being financially smart, it's important to have a self-sufficient life, and it's important for us to give back if we have the ability to do so, to give back to the society on what we can do for the people around us. So we hope that you will join us with our CATS Financial Officer Camp, the CFO Camp, and we hope everyone will have a good time. Thank you.